Hey guys, it's Artifact, and I am a Final Fantasy player. I picked up my love for MMOs a couple of years ago. It started with Destiny, actually, because Destiny had raids. I'm like, what type of game is this where I could get gear and loot and progress my characters? And Google told me that game is called an MMO. So I looked into MMOs. I found Terra. I really enjoyed Terra. I think Terra was my first true MMO experience. And of course, Terra went the way of a lot of Korean MMOs and just kind of disappeared. And so I jumped to MMO on console, noticeably. I played Terra on the Xbox. I played Neverwinter on the Xbox. BDO on the Xbox. And it's funny because my favorite MMO, almost my favorite game of all time, never came to the Xbox. Final Fantasy, I gotta play it on the computer. But with the influx of WoW players trying Final Fantasy, this whole WoW player tries Final Fantasy, I have two things to say about that. One, welcome to the game, sincerely. And two, I played Final Fantasy before it was cool. When you're an Xbox player, the choices of MMOs are not the best. And I was really scratching for a new MMO experience. Well, the best choice was to go to computer. I have a gaming laptop. While it's nothing super impressive, it could run Witcher 3. I can't even tell you the stats or hardware or what it's made out of. But basically, on the computer, I had three choices, it seemed like. Guild Wars 2, World of Warcraft, or Final Fantasy. I was doing research on all three, and I found out of the three of them, Final Fantasy had controller support. And I'm already kind of a weeb, so that's what made me go get Final Fantasy. And I loved it. But, that was way too long of an intro. Basically, I want to be the Final Fantasy player who tries WoW, reversing the system. I'm gonna find out, is WoW really that bad? Or is Final Fantasy just the Buccaneers of the MMO world and everyone's jumping on the bandwagon? It is fair to note that this is not a full review or anything. This was just me making a burn Blizzard account, downloading the demo, and giving it a try. And if I liked it, or anything like that, I would have bought like a 3-month subscription card from GameStop or something. And I would have dived deeper in. But, spoiler alert, it didn't do anything to convince me that I should subscribe. Let's start at the very beginning. The character creation. It's not awful, but it feels like it needs an update. Even I know WoW is close to like 20 years old or something. And the character creation feels like 10 years old. There's no sliders. It's just like very basic bunch of assets. It's not the worst one I've ever seen, but for a lack of a better word, it's not impressive. Also, while I'm on this subject, I need to say it. The WoW community gets on to us about cat girls and bunny girls. You guys have pandas. And Draenei and little fox people. Like, trust me, Lalafels, I hate them as much as anyone else does. I hate Lalafels. They're the cringiest race in almost any MMO. But when you guys attack Lalafels, I agree with you. Like, just get rid of Lalafels. But when you guys attack cat girls and bunny girls, when you have a freaking panda, I don't know, I think you might be looking through dirty glass or something. Now, no, not everyone plays a panda, I know. Also, not everyone plays a cat girl. It's like, your character customization has some cringe too. So I decided to embrace the cringe, made a, Draenei girl. And then the adventure starts. We start on a boat. So, first off, I want to get this out there too. I was told WoW implemented controller support when it's like almost halfway done, right? You plug in the controller and you map everything out and it feels awful. Like, I tried going to WoW Mapper and console port and I couldn't get them to work. So after about an hour later, I said, okay, Blizzard, I'll play your game and I'll play it your way. So I plug in the mouse, I plug in, well, I didn't plug in the keyboard, it's built in because it's a laptop. But, so I'm playing with the WASD controls, and I'm not really good with mouse and keyboard. I just think if you're gonna put in controller support, I imagine you would make a UI and all this other stuff to make it controller friendly. But it's almost like, okay, we're Blizzard, here's this, you do the work because we don't have time for that. So I'll say it again. Okay, Blizzard, I'll play your game and I'll play it your way. So next is Tutorial Island. And honestly, I didn't hate it. In fact, I liked it, honestly. It was a lot of fun. So you start out on a boat. The boat crashes. You kill some lizard mascot things. And you continue, and then you find out the plot is a bunch of dumb ogres are playing with necromancy, and they want to resurrect a dragon. Then I stopped and thinking about it. This is Neverwinter's Tutorial Island. There were two things I liked about it. One was there was a boss hidden away that actually kicked my butt the first time I tried him. Like, I needed to go back and finish Tutorial Island and go back to him to get my revenge. And I thought that was kind of cool. You don't see a lot of difficult bosses in Tutorial Islands. And that was cool. I liked it. I also liked how quick it throws you into a dungeon to teach you those mechanics and how the loot drops work, how the roll works, and all that other stuff. Even though it is a super easy dungeon where it holds your hands, it's enough to, like, for you to experience it. I got to Stormwind, and then Blizzard's storytelling turns its ugly head. Because right off the bat, they just kind of give you the middle finger and tell you this is not your story. So sit down, don't get a big head, because this is Jaina's story. We are Blizzard, and we know how to tell a good story. Now enjoy it from the sidelines, because your character don't mean crap. So we continue Jaina's story, and we're on a boat again. Lots of boats. And Jaina's like taking a nap or something. And a pirate appears, and he's like, You best start believing in ghost stories, 'cause you're in one. I'm like, what? Where's this going? What does this have to do with anything? Jaina confronts her mom, and my character's not even in the scene. Like, again, Blizzard just said, your character don't mean crap. This is Jaina's story, not yours. Just in case you didn't get it the first time. So, I assume me and Jaina get captured because immediately there's a prison break. We meet a character named Flynn. And we escape. And then we hide in, barrels. He gets a barrel of rum. I get a barrel of fish. And another boat crash. I feel like people in the WoW universe need to learn how to row a boat. Just to stick with the storytelling here, I don't know where in the WoW universe I am. Am I before the Lich King? Is this building up to the Lich King? Did I miss the Lich King? If I missed the Lich King, I'm so upset because I've always wanted to play that arc. Growing up, I've always had an eye on World of Warcraft. I've always wanted to play World of Warcraft, but never wanted to pay the fee, right? And then when I got home from my mission, turned on the Xbox, never really thought about it. But it's like, you just assume everyone knows Jaina's story. You just assume everyone knows the Lich King. And while everyone probably knows him as a character, I don't know his real name. I don't know why he decided to turn his back on his family and turn to a world of ice. I would have liked to explore that. But I think I missed it. And WoW hasn't recapped it. So I guess if Blizzard doesn't care, I don't care. Which is a shame. And that's what it is, right there. World of Warcraft is a story of arriving on the scene, taking over the world and becoming content with who you are. Final Fantasy is a redemption arc. Final Fantasy failed. Final Fantasy fell on its face. But instead of quitting, it got back up. And it pushed through everything. It pushed through bad PR. It pushed through people calling it a weeb game. And it slowly climbed itself back up. Final Fantasy is a labor of love. Final Fantasy is a story of don't ever quit. Final Fantasy feels like it owes its players everything for not giving up on it. While World of Warcraft feels its players owes them. I don't care what game you play. As long as you have fun playing your game, you don't need validation. You don't need justification. You play the game you sincerely enjoy. But from the bottom of my heart, I relate to the story of Final Fantasy. Because I have fallen on my face so many times. But one of these days I'm going to get back up. And I'm going to succeed just like Final Fantasy did. And I'm so glad Final Fantasy is my MMO. While World of Warcraft technically didn't do anything to change my mind about not subscribing, it didn't impress me with the story, it didn't impress me with its loot, and the gameplay was just kind of meh. I am glad to call Final Fantasy home. This wasn't too much of a review or anything. I just wanted to try World of Warcraft. And now, I wasn't too impressed with it. But thank you for watching. Until next time, Artifact out.